shit, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing out there? This is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 130. How you doing, folks? Are you having a good time out there? Yes, I am having a good time. Sitting here with our friend, Jason today. He is making his return to the show. Probably the quickest turnaround in show history, actually, that we're doing this. In fact, this is such a quick show. Quick turnaround. Quick turnaround. It's not. I hope it's not a quick show.
I'm done. See you guys. I'm over.
Yeah, could be quick. Could be quick.
Best cameo ever. I really hope it's not a quick show because you were very kind enough to come back here in such in a blazing fashion within a few weeks. Yeah. So last time we had you on the show, this is basically part 2 for you listeners out there. If you haven't listened to the first part of this, you definitely should check out our episode. I think it's like episode 125 or 6 or 4 or something like that. Like it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So this is episode sooner. Yeah, it's episode 130. It's very easily able to be searched if you want to do so.
This is episode 130?
This is episode 130.
Oh.
It is, right?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? You're a huge help.
Whatever it is 130 now.
It is the episode number that it is.
We're not even going to do ads right. We're just going to jump right into it. How about that?
We don't need ads.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Boom. I mean, thank you, Floathouse, for having us, but
we'll talk about them later.
So that being said, if those of you who are listening weirdly on part 2 and not part 1, I just want to let you know right now we're sitting here across from a fighter, an MMA enthusiast, an actor, a stunt actor. Is there a major variation? I think so. I think people should need to know. And he's a man of many slashes, friend of the show, newest slash. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Jason Day. How you doing, sir?
Is that where we wait for applause?
That's
give it up and then.
Should I do it right here?
Everybody
Clap?
At home
is
good applauding right now.
Here. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm good now. I'm good.
I'm happy to see you back so quickly, like I was saying.
Yeah. Well, with the business, it's you never know, and I didn't have any work today, so
it's been a pretty good weekend. You know what? Actually, C-Mart was at Jake the Snake on Friday, and friend of the show, Steve McGowan, was hosting it, wasn't he?
Didn't even say hi. I didn't say hi.
That's a real campaign.
Yeah,
that's the guy that.
We'll save that for the listeners to let them know. Yeah. But they'll come back.
That was my personal fuck you.
Yeah. They'll laugh at that. Yeah. But how was Jake the Snake?
It was good. It was dark.
Yeah.
It was.
You mean the lighting?
It was also dark. Yeah. Multi-layered darkness. It was good. I didn't realize Jake's origin stories really in terms of his family and like.
He's very deep. He has a very intense.
Yeah, it
background.
was like a little bit of comedy, but mostly just like insane tales.
It's kind of like despair. But like he does it really well. Have you seen the documentary, Jason? Have you seen the documentary?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either.
There's this amazing documentary on Netflix all about Jake the Snake, and
oh really?
He goes through trying out DDP yoga.
He's still on it. He's still on it. Yeah, so Diamond Dallas Page flew him out
moving,
there.
Man. Like it moves you. Like you feel a certain way afterwards. Like it's an effective. I don't know. It's not just a good marketing tool for DDP yoga. It's actually like. Jake the Snake's story is so rife with like just chaos.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a crazy feeling.
I flew around in a helicopter with that guy Saturday, and then
post show.
Sorry, Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake, man. Yeah. We did a charity poker tournament. That's why he's actually up here. Was to come and do this charity poker tournament for a friend of mine named Andy Batty, who himself has a crazy, unbelievable story about sexual child abuse and recovery, and his life is crazy. So he does this event every year, and he has events throughout the year.
Yeah.
And so he brought Jake the Snake up. Last year he brought Jose Canseco up, and so I brought Jake the Snake and kind of to disperse the costs. He gets him to do the comedy things and signings and that. But so I go out as a pseudo celebrity. And play poker with everybody, and I did the auction for him. But
you're a humble guy. You're like obviously like you're in there for a reason. It's good. Yeah.
Just because I'm nice to people. But yeah, so he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fly Jake the Snake in on a helicopter."
Which is the craziest sentence to hear,
right?
When you're like starting, you're like, okay, like
yeah. And then he's like, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Do I want to fly around?"
It even sounds made up.
Yeah.
Like, then you know, Jake the Snake out of helicopter. It sounds like a game of Mad Libs.
Yeah. Oh man,
like improv.
It was crazy. But he's so banged up, his hips and everything, and he's so tall. Like he's trying to get in the helicopter, and he's like pulling his leg up, and he's like, and he's literally ramming his leg through the door, trying to get in
pulling his own legs into the car. Oh man!
But it was so fun. It was so fun watching his reactions in the helicopter.
Yeah,
because we take off, and you know it's kind of if you never like it was my first time in a helicopter.
I've never been in a helicopter.
You kind of get a little nervous at first. It's kind of weird, and then all of a sudden you take off. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then you put the headphones on. And you can hear everything that everybody's saying. And the pilot's like, okay, we're in a bank, right? And so we're going, and he's like, whoa, this helicopter's basically sideways, and we're banking hard.
Damn, like hard 45.
They rotate pretty good.
Yeah. And Jake's just grabbing, he's like, you son of a bitch. He's just pulling on for his dear life, right? That was the most entertaining part. But yeah, we flew around. The event was in Langley. We flew around Langley for a little bit, and then
that's crazy. You had a helicopter experience with him. And like C-Mart's there watching the show. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was later.
Crazy, man. Yeah, it's and Jake the Snake. When I was growing up, my kind of nickname was Jake. Like my family, my aunts, and everybody called me Jaker.
Because of Jay, right? Like Jay.
Yeah,
Jake,
but my family's crazy, so who knows the real reason? And my mom used to sing a song about Jake the Snake. And when she used to put me to sleep when I was really young.
What?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember how it goes?
She texted to me, but I was like, I don't remember that. And she's like, yeah, I thought because I sent her a picture. She goes, I thought that's why you sent me the picture.
What?
I was like, I don't remember that. I was like, Jake the Snake, diddle dee, something like that.
Like a whole like folk tune kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess it was how she put me to sleep. And
what? That's strange.
Yeah.
All right.
I met my mom. But yeah, and I was always Jake the Snake whenever we played wrestling when I was growing up, right?
I mean, it's one of the best nicknames ever. It works so simply.
It's one of the first wrestler names I can remember.
Yeah.
Growing up, like when I was like, I like that guy. You just described them by their
there was the Hulk Hogan,
obviously,
Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man. And Jake the Snake. It was like that was the core group of dudes.
Yeah.
And and Jake just went down a dark path. And he's come full circle. Like he's doing good.
Your friend that did the tournament turn out well? You had a good time?
It turned out really well. He got some of the Canucks alumni out there. Mm-hmm. Like Dave Babbage was there, and then John Craighead.
Nice.
So it's good. Like everybody just comes out, and there's some memorabilia. Like we had like a Magic Johnson signed jersey, a Joe Montana jersey. Oh, wow. Like you get some legit stuff for the auction.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was doing the auction, and Jake the Snake was buying everything.
You were doing the auction?
Yeah. I got $50 right here. I just making it up, right? I just going around. I was like, bibbidi bobbidi boop it, and then, but it's it's not professional.
Throw that slash to your intro, and I like.
Yeah, right. Get me out there. If you guys have an auction, I have an auctioneer for you.
Oh wow. You.
Yeah. You don't want to know my fee. I get 10% of whatever I raise.
For a second there, I was like, he's like in a guild or something, and like he's gonna recommend me. I was like, oh, it's you.
It's me. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, surprise.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a crazy experience. I mean, Andy was like he on Hastings when he was like 13 years old. And so he has a crazy story, man. Like if that's a guy, if you want to get on a podcast sometime and talk about
sounds interesting.
Full circle. He's so interesting, and he's got such a big heart now. He helps people with recovery and.
What was the charity?
Survivors Helping Survivors, I believe.
That's what the charity was at the at the show. That was the promoted charity.
You're right. So
yeah.
Jason was right. Yeah, so it's all.
I was supposed to be at the show actually, but I had to work.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we had VIP tickets.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Look at this special.
Actually, the only thing more baller than that is he had them and didn't use them.
Yeah, that's hyper VIP.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed at the show that disturbed me was the amount of people willing to order a calamari from a comedy club. Like there were 3 orders of calamari near me.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Like, you're in New It's
pretty good there.
Laugh lines.
It's
really
pretty good there, yeah.
Yeah.
I just would never be I would never order that at a comedy club.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good there. I love the staff there. They're all good people.
Yeah, I like I'm just saying that's a bold move.
If it was, I know what you're saying in general though. Like
it's like ordering a steak at a strip club.
You just don't.
You're gonna roll the dice on that.
Like, what are the chances it's good?
Don't use the salad bar at the titty club.
Sure,
that's like not a good idea. Last time we had you on the show, we ended off with your UFC debut.
Yeah.
Your victory over Alan Belcher.
Yeah.
We were pretty.
Belching.
Is that what it?
I don't know. He belches people. I'm sure. Maybe not. You don't belch him.
Jesus Christ, C-Mart.
What road are you going down?
I don't know. It's a weird last name.
Burying the guy. That's okay. The feedback though on the show was great.
Good to hear.
I think we had a lot of great feedback on it. We also had, similar kind of reactions to what I was telling you, where I'm like, I get very good feeling, like a positive, like goosebumps kind of feeling when I hear you talking about like getting the call, and like just how that feels, because like it's this realization of the moment. So just trying to set that stage right now a little bit for people so we can get back into that vibe, that headspace. After the UFC debut you had on such a historical card too, an amazing time. I'm sure of it.
It was all.
I don't think we cover this though, but like you win, you go back to the curtain. What's your decompress at that moment? What do you do? Are you still buzzing around like combat
still
high?
Buzzing. Yeah. I went back, and Jayme McDonald.
Yes.
He was going out to fight Dirksen because it was their rematch. And I'm good buddies with both those guys, so I've known them forever. And so I went back, and he was just like, he gave me the high five and a hug, and then I wished him good luck, and I just kind of laid down. And I was like, it was one of those moments when I just.
Where'd you lay down? Like in
the dressing room.
In the dressing
room.
Because
it was, I didn't go watch Jason and Joe fight. I laid down and just soaked it in, because I was like, it just felt like that was one of the moments. Like, how many moments in your life are you gonna get like that? And
debut is on that stage is like a very unique thing. It doesn't happen twice.
And so I just sat there, and then I just
soaked it
in, and
it's just like hearing the
and then they went out and they fought, and then the intermission I think was right after that. So then kind of I think Jay came back and then it kind of just everything just kind of came back into reality, and I went out. My brother and my cousin were in the stands, and so I ran out to find them, and they're my two best friends. So I just ran out. They were giving me hugs, and I just hung out with them for the rest of the night, and they enjoyed the night.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you got to experience it from a very unique point of view, obviously. But also from were you in the seats then? I
was in where because the UFC gives the fighters each 4 tickets for their fights.
Right. Okay.
So I went up and into the seats, and then I forget, one of my buddies, I think he was actually arguing with his girlfriend, so I sat in his seat. He was on the phone arguing with her.
Classic.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll sit here.
Flag.
So I actually sat and watched the rest of the fights for the most part from there. And it was weird because people were walking by and like, didn't you just fight?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, I won. I was like, and then I just hung out, and I was a fan for the rest of the night. And
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I can see you doing that too.
Yeah.
So at that time, is there post medicals and stuff though you have to do?
No, I mean I came out. The doctor comes in and checks you out in the dressing room, and I didn't take any damage, so I was cleared right away. And
right.
And then I went out, and after the fight, I watched GSP win, and then went back to the hotel. And then in that fight, it kind of went viral because I used a rubber guard.
Yes.
Eddie Bravo's rubber guard. And to be honest, my buddy Wyatt Lewis, who I started trying, I think I talked about him last time on the show.
A little bit. I think so. I think so.
Yeah, he's the guy. 2 weeks before I fought, he showed me that. I'd never seen it before, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of neat." He's like, "Yeah, you might want to use that."
So you're just throwing this in there with 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just like, "Oh, look at this position that my buddy just taught me." I'm like, "Oh, look, I can elbow this guy in the head from here." It was just random, yeah. And so I'm in they take me back to the hotel, And this little kind of weird dude kind of runs up to me and he's like, man, that was awesome, rubber guard. High fives me and I'm like, thanks, man, I really appreciate that. And then I start going to the elevator and my buddy grabs me. He goes, hey, that's Eddie Bravo.
That's actually Eddie Bravo.
And I'm like, who?
Yeah.
Because man, I'm not. Like,
no, you didn't mean it like dismissively.
I didn't mean it dismissively. I didn't know. It was kind of a different world for me. I didn't know who he was.
That's a cool thing though, that he can have that influence to that level that like you were like even unaware.
Use his move.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like think about that. Like he was an innovator in that style.
Yeah, and he's the coolest dude, by the way. Like I went back and I was like, sorry, man, I didn't.
Seems
I
chill
didn't know.
As fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we talked about it, and I went to his seminar here, and he's like, man, I show your tape to all the students, like my fighters, when they come in, and so this is how effective the rubber guard can be. And I was like,
nice,
sweet, man. It's called the rubber guard. He's like,
yeah.
Yeah,
nice. Speaking of Eddie Bravo, he had a bit of a run-in with your next opponent, I believe, at the time.
Bisping.
Michael Bisping. So did you see that? Did you see any of this stuff?
I didn't hear about this.
They've like squashed it, but it was kind of weird because Bisping was clearly inebriated. And Eddie Bravo's trying to like tell him something, but they're like escalating verbally in each other's face. And this is like I think it's like at the MGM Grand or something.
Oh, so really?
Like
which Bisping is this? Is this pre like getting knocked out?
This is like a month or two ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
like recently, yeah, like
I like Bisping after he got.
Well, here's the thing. He's
Henderson.
Like, he was like notably escalating the situation.
Bisping was?
Yeah. And Eddie Bravo is, chill, but also like, hey man, like don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
But there's so many people. You've seen the lobbies in Vegas when it's like that. It's like
crazy.
It's insane. So everyone's got a camera phone out.
Yeah.
They're laughing and stuff at the end of it. But that was my attempt to segue into your next.
Into Bisping.
Right. Yeah. So.
Smooth.
Well, hey, that just sort of presented itself. So I could do that. So how did this come together? At the time,
the
Joe
Bisping
Silva
thing
calls you. Like,
are
you still repping yourself at this point?
Am I what?
Are you like still representing yourself?
I would never represented myself actually.
Never.
No.
What?
Lee Meehan.
Lee. Oh, so
Lee was always representing me.
Lee was still.
Yeah. He was.
I think I had mistaken that in the last story. That there was at one point you would. Oh,
because I was just saying, like I talked to the other promoters and I'm like, hey, I'll do this, and then they'll call Lee, and
sorry,
just because there's there's a couple of promoters that you get to know, and it's like, hey, I'll do this, set up with Lee.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lee's representing you. So what happened?
Because right after I had that, there was a flurry of interviews. Right, it was crazy. Every day I was on doing 2 or 3 interviews, and I think it was on like Sportsnet or something. They were interviewing me, and they're like, "Well, like who would you like to see? Who would you like to fight next?" And I just said, "Man, Michael Bisping. Yeah. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He was dominating. Tough 205er, just moved down to 185. I'm like, that'd be a good guy to fight.
Yeah.
Never thinking I was gonna get a fight out of it, but and then I like two weeks later, maybe a week later, I can't remember. It was tight. Mm-hmm. And I was still kind of in celebration party mode, and I got a call while I was working framing houses again with my dad, and they're like, "Do you want to fight Bisping in 2 weeks?" I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later. So I was like, I better start training. Yeah.
Another like just the series of all these like short notice fights.
Yeah. And I loved it, right? And everybody's like, you didn't get a full training camp, and I never really had a full training camp. It was just training. That's what we did. Like, it's so different now, man. And and I can look at kind of how the career path my career took, and I can see where things changed a little bit. You kind of get a broader sense, and I said, let's do this. Like, that's pretty wicked. Let's go to London, fight Michael Bisping, and it was in the semi-main event, which was so cool, right?
Like, right. So, do you remember if you could feel like there was because they were still trying to break the UK market at that point?
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was like a weighted thing, like that they were promoting Bisping a bit more?
They're trying to like get me to, like trying to feed me to Bisping?
A little bit, something like that. Like, did you feel like that at the time?
No.
I guess, I mean, it sounds like you were just like so hungry for fights. That
it was like Bisping was supposed to fight Lieben. Mm-hmm. Lieben got like a DUI or something that Lieben would do. So he got pulled.
Allegedly.
And and they're like, Lieben might not be able to fight. Do you want to fight? And I think it was just because there's hype coming off me, and they wanted to build the hype between the two. And I can't remember. I think I met Bisping like 2 months later at a pool party in Vegas, and he's like, Dana White told me he thought that you were gonna beat me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like,
interesting.
Yeah, because you kind of you're like, are they trying to they're trying to build Bisping at the time. But if you reverse it,
I mean, that's the outside perspective. But you're right. Like if Dana White's telling that to Michael Bisping, though,
I think he told him after the fight. He was like, I thought he might beat you, man. And
in his victory, he was still like, take him down a bit,
Yeah, probably, right? Yeah, it's like probably negotiating the contract. I thought Dave was gonna beat you. I'm not giving you that much.
Yeah, we gotta really talk about that. We'll table that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a short notice fight. Wicked went to London, which is a cool experience.
Yeah. Do you have a memory in fight, something maybe that surprised you about him?
Nothing about him surprised me, but
like what was that like fighting on jet lag and stuff like that? Like,
I did. I never really adjusted over there, and it was the first time I've had that kind of that much of a change in time zone, and I never truly adjusted. I was still sleeping on Canadian time, and it was just, and I don't know, man. I just never climatized. And I remember getting in the ring, or in the cage. I remember him grabbing me, and I was like, felt so weak. I was just like, he pinned me on the cage. I'm like, and it's not that right. It's not that he felt so strong. It was just like, I'm like, where's my strength? Like I felt so weak, and I didn't. It was weird. I was in a weird headspace. And then when you realize that, like looking back, and it's like when you can be in a cage fighting and you realize how your body's feeling, you're in trouble because you're not in the zone. You're almost too aware of what's going on.
It's almost I mean, for me to even try to relate to what you're saying, I'm trying to put myself.
My Belcher fight,
I
don't remember it. You know what I mean? Like the fights that I just went in and just dominated. It's just like all of a sudden something just clicks, and it's like your body just goes into this is what we do.
I mean, obviously, you're not the kind of person that makes excuses, but do you feel like some of that jet lag probably played a factor?
No, man. Like it was just, it's funny because all kinds of scenarios go through your head at points, right?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I'm like, did somebody put something in my water?
Yes.
And at one point, I was convinced. I'm like, I think, maybe Bisping had some spies or some like gangsters, and they slipped in and put but that's so far-fetched. I don't want to start this huge rumor. Jason Day said that his water was.
Did you know? Yeah, that'll be the title of this episode.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah. But you kind of go and it's like, why was I feeling like that? And I
we hear about that all the time.
Yeah,
guys that just kind of like are like, I just weird.
I was just off, man. I wasn't he got me on the ground, and I remember I was in garden. He's punched me. I'm like, God, it just doesn't even hurt. I'm like, well, I should probably stop letting him punch me in the face. And so I kind of like changed positions. And then, but it was just, when I reached into the toolbox, none of the tools were there.
I can definitely understand that explanation. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was like, that's just one fight. Like, everybody's like, he could do one fight over again. It would be the Bisping fight. And not because... not just because I lost or what was at stake. Yeah. It was because something was off, man. It was just I didn't. There was no tools in my toolkit, like I was trying to say, and I would love to test that again. You know what I mean? I would love to see what would have happened if everything was there. But that's.
I always think about like pride fighters.
Yeah.
Like I think about guys like Akiyama, that's just like this dominant force over in Japan, killing in Japan. Yeah. And I remember when he was being hyped up when they brought him over, and they were saying, "Oh, this guy is gonna run through middleweight. You're gonna see this guy versus the Spider," and and he just never. I think he maybe got one win. Out of like 5. I think he had 5 or 6 appearances.
That's so long ago, man.
It's a long time ago, but I mean, they call him Sexy Yama.
Sexy Yama.
They were hoping so much he would break that market for them. Yeah. And that's kind of what I mean is like you can tell when they're like slighting a little bit. Someone like they want.
Well, because they want to build. They want to, you know, they want to.
Yeah, I get.
They want to. Yeah,
promotion-wise, I
it's
get
business wise.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I think that's interesting that Dana, like for Bisping to admit that to you.
Bisping was pretty drunk at the time, though.
You think he was being a little truthful beyond truth?
Maybe, yeah. I just it's weird. Like it's even weird to say that I was at a pool party in Vegas now.
Yeah,
I'm like, I was at this pool party and you know fighters are running around and it's just weird.
Well, you seem to have like, I mean, of your fight history, a lot of guys from the Tough Enough. Like, sorry, not Tough Enough. Oh, Jesus. Totally different.
The Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter. I think because the acronym Tough and that.
Yeah.
My apologies, ladies.
Yeah.
I'm barely forgiven.
You do have a couple fights like Kendall Grove.
Kendall Grove
is your next fight.
Yeah. Cote was on Tough. Remember they did like the comeback.
Yes.
And yeah,
so
I fought three guys.
One.
JT Money. I fought him afterwards. After the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta browse your Dog again. Son.
Man, you gotta do your research, dude.
Yeah, I show up day of. Well, what did you do this day?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Grove was my next fight. I mean, after, I think I lost that fight in London. I didn't, and then I was supposed to fight Jason Lambert. I came back and I started training, and I was supposed to fight Jason Lambert, and I had bone chips in my elbow, and I couldn't like lift.
Like bursitis?
I don't know what bursitis.
That's
is.
Like
I'm like I don't know.
Fair enough.
Well,
I don't either.
It was actual chips, like in
bone chips
in the joint.
Yeah, and it's inflamed, right?
It's so inflamed, and like I couldn't drink with this hand. I couldn't bend my elbow.
That's like bursitis.
Yeah, and I was still training, and I was like, I can do this, and well, I got up for breakfast one day, and it was like I couldn't even bend my arm, and I called my manager, and I was like, I can't go up against Lambert, man. I got to go in for surgery, and so I went for surgery.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not saying a lot because to date, in 2 episodes now, you've been taking fights on crazy short notice, you know, and knowing.
It doesn't seem crazy to me, man. That was just the way it was.
Here's the thing, though, is like if we were booking in 2017, just to reference the last fight we were just talking about, if Bisping was supposed to fight Chris Levin, and there was any kind of implications like in what he's doing right now, like any kind of contendership or something like that, and he was, you know, had any sniff of that, there's no way he would take that fight, and I don't think the fans would expect him to take that fight nowadays. But I think back in like 2009, I'd be like, I can't believe he pulled out this. Like as a fan, it's weird, but like I've changed my tune in the past like 7 years. I feel like weird about that, but like I used to be really upset when
fighters pulled out. Man, you know what? But you think you're upset? Like you think the fans upset? For a fighter to have to pull out of a fight is heartbreaking, man. Right? It's what you do, and it's like I can't go to work. I can't. It's because that's what you are. You are a fighter. That's your identity, and it's like if you can't do that for some reason, you have to pull out. You feel that. You feel that you're disappointing the fans. You feel like you're disappointing the other guy, your managers, your training partners. It's just, man.
I know exactly. I know what you're saying because like that disappointment is like, I mean, just the economic impact too at the time, right? Because you know, did you have medical coverage at the time?
No, like this, but the impact. Back then, man, I was making. I think UFC was paying me. I think I was at 3-3 or something for that now.
3-3.
3-3. My first fight was 25-25. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about that, but I'm pretty sure.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it was 25-25.
Like
right?
Old, really.
And then, for my fight against Bisping in the semi-main event in London, I think they paid me $3,000.
Did you have sponsors though at the time?
I had sponsors. Yeah. I signed with Dean Elbrecht after my UFC fight, and he was kind of a big. He was the biggest kind of manager at the time. And so I signed with him, and he got me some sponsorship, and that started to pay for stuff, which was good.
Way more than 3-3.
Yeah. That it's still, nowadays I mean, fighters are starting to get treated pretty good. Like, you're still not making millions on your first few fights, but I mean, McGregor's paved the way for a few guys to start making money, and guys are starting to realize they can stand up for themselves. You know, you guys are going to Bellator now, man. Like, these guys are going to pay me.
Seeing a pretty strong migration in Bellator. I saw Phil Davis and Ryan Bader
announce it. They've been putting together good fights.
Yeah,
that's what it counts. That's what counts, right? Like,
That next card is going to be Fedor and
I can't even believe
Mitrione.
I'm nervous.
I can't. Even, that sounds like.
Can you imagine like 5 years ago if you were like, Fedor is going to fight Matt Mitrione on Bellator?
2 years ago, if you would have said that.
2 years ago,
I'd be like, that doesn't sound like a plausible.
Yeah,
thing. I like Matt Mitrione. You're like, like Meathead. No, there's no. Like, you know,
what do you think is going to happen in that one?
I think. Okay, I have to be careful with this because I'm a diehard Fedor fan, like diehard.
Yeah, I watched him lose for the first time in your basement on questionable.
Yeah, it was shaky. So here's what I feel about that. I fucking love Fedor.
Yeah,
but his last fight, I mean, he was getting mollywopped. Like there was a good portion of that fight where I was like, I think they should probably call it. Like,
it was that one that went to decision and he won decision?
I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah, it wasn't. I have names in my head right now because I'm prepped for you, but I can't. I'm trying to think.
You know what?
You want to look that up for me, there, Killer? I appreciate that. But like that last guy Fedor fought. Holy fuck! Like
he was getting beat up.
They actually appealed that. In Russia.
That's really dangerous.
In Ryzen, or was it Russia? I don't know, wherever the Ryzen card was. They appealed it afterwards, and I guess this is really crazy. The guy on the board is like best friends with Fedor and just said no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly.
No appeal for you.
Yeah, something like that. Like, and then he hit him with those nettles from the Russian the bathhouses or whatever.
I think this is normal branches.
Yeah, branches. Yeah.
You know what's funny, man?
What's that?
I never saw that before, and I was in Chicago training with Miguel, and I was like, I really need to go to a bathhouse or a hot and cold.
Miguel Torres, I should say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, just for the listeners.
What did I say?
You said Miguel, but it was very casual.
My sorry.
That's I just
my
want
bad.
The listeners to know. Yeah, go ahead.
Miguel Torres. Because we were like, he was my we're still buds. I miss
very
that
close.
Guy.
Yeah.
He just retired this week. Hey.
This week?
Last week he retired.
Oh,
and
I totally
wrote a heartbreaking post on Facebook, and it's weird, man, because talk about a guy who was just had the world at his fingertips, and then he just, I don't know, man. He went. Anyways, I'm getting all teary.
No.
But I want
to hear this.
He just. I was out there, and he had all these plans. He was on top of the world, and he had so much confidence. And what made him great, like when I went out there, like it's East Chicago. It's not nice. Like it's not like fancy neighborhoods. It's like pretty much like the ghetto areas, right? Yeah. And so like his whole life, he was fighting, and he had to work hard for everything. And you go to his gym, and it was just a family. You know what I mean? And that's what I had in Lethbridge, like a family of fighters. But there, everybody loved him. Like his students loved him and respected him, and just for the work he put in. And then he started, the WEC at the time he wasn't in the UFC. He was a WEC, and they weren't really, they're making a little bit of money, but not. He was a champ,
Still,
and he was destroying guys. And then he started training. He went to TriStar and started training, and it just wasn't the same. Like, it's. I think if he would have stayed in Chicago and just done the dirty training he was doing, just.
Do you think it was that? Do you think it was the coaching dynamic change?
A little bit. He was his own coach, really. But I mean, he's a black belt under Gracie. I think Hickson. No.
Not Hickson. Gracie.
I
wouldn't know that. Maybe
Carlson.
could look that up.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Which
now.
Gracie gave
Miguel Torres
his black belt.
But yeah, he went up to and started training at TriStar, and it's a totally different way of training, And he was never the same fighter after that. I remember he fought. It was like Brian. I can't even remember the guy's name. He doesn't fight anymore. But he caught Miguel, knocked him out, and then he wasn't just after that he thought he had to change up his training, and I think he went to Montreal and he's training there, and he's kind of
rocks you around. Like your confidence, right?
And and it makes you think he kind of has to go. And kind of with me too. Kind of when Bisping beat me, I was like, I gotta start training with the big camps. You know what I mean? Yeah, I need to step it up, and maybe I just needed to stay home and train with like the guys that were my family and that. But it's all hindsight, and but looking back, I don't know what direction. But I'm not saying because I'm happy where I'm at now.
No, but like
Carlson Gracie.
Carlson Gracie.
There you go. Yeah,
see, I told you guys that.
Yeah, you did actually.
Yeah.
But I can see, and I can hear in your tone that like you obviously care about Miguel Torres as like not just as a fighter but as a friend.
Yeah.
When you see someone retire, is it because it's not really? I mean, not ideally on his own terms? Is that like how that?
Yeah,
is that how that plays out?
I guess, man, his post was just he used to do it because he loved it, and come to the gym and train every day. He loved it. And he'd go out and he could put food on his family's table, and I think it got to a point it got too big, and because he was like he had, I can't describe it, but yeah, him retiring. It's just because he's my buddy. He's like it's like the end of an era to me.
Right.
And like he had such a big heart. He had such a big heart. He welcomed me into his family. I went to his mom and dad's house every day with him, and they make this crazy Mexican soup. And they just it's just I cherish that time that I spent there in Chicago.
I can tell. I can sense that. In the way you're speaking. Yeah.
He's just such a great community there, and
I did not know this side of Miguel Torres. I don't.
Yeah, man.
I'm a pretty avid fan.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you really listen to his interviews, and if you kind of look at some of the interviews he's done, you can tell he cares in how he presents himself, and yeah, man, that guy he's a good dude, and I think he went down a couple wrong paths and just never got back into the groove of things. And he just fought a few months ago in Hamilton is kind of like where he started, and I think that he just is like, this isn't going to pay the bills. I'm just going to focus on my gym, and his gym's doing great out there.
And well, he's got a name. He's got a recognizable name.
Yeah.
He has a lot of positives there.
Yeah.
Still, accentuate.
Yeah.
I think it's important. We talked a little bit about this last episode when we had you on the show, and the exit strategy for the industry is so important because it's. I mean, we talked about a little bit about how if you leave the industry at the age of 32, 33, 34, people don't realize that like you're competing against other 34-year-olds that have like 12, 10 years of experience in something. Like you're trying. You're
trying to catch up.
It's not a level, and not even that. It's just like RRSPs, everything. Like not like their pensions. Like you're behind. like because
Yeah, I mean Miguel's lucky though, because I mean I don't know if he saved any money from when he was making good money or that, but he does have a big school and a group of people that are so loyal they'll never leave him.
Yeah,
like that'll just keep growing.
He's got the Gracie connection and stuff, right? So
and. Yeah, I mean he's gonna thrive in his post-fight career for sure, and
I think so too.
Well,
I wish him all the best. I know that I know you guys are close, so I hope he does well.
I'm gonna try to get him out here for a seminar, to put on a seminar out here.
That'd be nice.
Just for selfish reasons, so I can hang out with him, because I haven't seen the guy in probably like 7 or 8 years.
We'll send this to him, and this will be the first. Attire, and he'll be like, oh, okay.
I'll tell him. Yeah, Miguel, you're coming out, buds.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because we were talking about a bit about exit strategy.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to, because we have a few more fights in your Sherlock history we can go through.
We don't need to go through those.
I mean, for how it is, you did fight some notable names though. Like, you fought Ovin Sepru, Francis Carmont.
That was a crazy one, man. Ovins, I was like, who's this guy? And I'm like,
So
it was another. That was another one where it's like I was scheduled to fight. I can't remember who I scheduled the fight, and then they're like, well, this guy had to pull out, and they're like, but will you fight this guy? He's 205 though.
That was okay. No,
and I was like,
crazy to me.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. And then I showed up. I'm like, you are a large man.
Yeah, he fought Jones a year ago. Think about that. He fought John Jones in 2016.
Yeah. Well, I was over anxious in that fight. I ran in. He hit me like a truck. Went to sleep. It was like 8 seconds, and I woke up in his corner. I was like, I was too amped for that fight, and I was like, and then he went in and he went to the UFC, and he just is like, bing, 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 just knocking guys out. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's legit, man, and he was such a nice guy too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, such a nice guy.
Did he talk to you after the fight?
Talked to me after the fight, and he had so much respect, and he was just like, "Thank you so much for taking this fight." And his whole team was just a bunch of like real nice guys, and I was like, "Okay, I lost to a nice guy."
That's why when you hear things like, because I think Jones broke his arm with a kick.
Yeah,
fight,
I think so.
And you hear Jones say like, "I'm glad." Or something like that, and you're just like, "Damn, dude! Like, really?"
That's what I love Jones for. He's like,
you like that? Like, I don't know.
Well, like he's like the heel, but he like presents himself as the.
You just heard our
as
good
like
friend,
as like a nice guy. Like
you just heard our good friend Jason Doomsday tell us that he's a nice guy, and here you are just burying him again.
No, I mean I'm talking about Jones.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I mean like
Jones, man. It's too bad, man. Jones. That guy, he could have had the world in his hand.
Yeah.
All of his hand, but...
Do you think...
That guy needs a powerful manager. You want to drive that car? Nope. You don't get to drive anymore. Anywhere.
He just needs an Uber account.
Yeah.
I don't know why the fuck.
Needs like...
he just needs to smarten up.
Do you think DC has the tools to defeat him? Because it was pretty one-sided, their first fight.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
No prediction there?
Cormier just keeps surprising me.
He surprised the fuck out of me with that Rumble fight.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I don't think Anthony was there though.
Yeah.
I think
he looked like he was already considering. What do you have, like an NFL job on the horizon there?
He's got something going on.
He's supposed to go be like one of their strength and conditioning guys or something.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what allegedly. That's what I
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I just it's funny. That's another guy, Anthony Johnson, man. Just he was fighting here in Vancouver. Like 2-3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Was that what he's at 170?
No, I think he was fighting at 205 then.
He was back to 205.
He was back to 205 then. Yeah. He knocked the guy out, went to UFC, bang, bang, bang. Like, I swear it was like 6 or 7 months later he was fighting for the title. It's like, where'd you come from?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Him and Phil Davis right around the same time. I remember coming up and being like, "Oh, this is inevitable."
Yeah, yeah.
And then he just trucked me, like
crazy.
Yeah. So. Bringing everything to a point here. So after the Francis Carmon fight, you must be thinking about retooling.
Yeah, I was talking to Dean, who was still managing me at the time. I was like, what should I do? And we're kind of talking about going down to the training camp in Florida. I was considering maybe going back to Lethbridge, back to where it all started. And
we should let people know it's probably about 2011 in our story at this point. So
2011.
The Belcher fight was in 2009. Early 9 or
2008.
2008 actually. Late 2008. Yeah, that's
almost 10 years.
So it's been a couple of years.
Been a couple of years,
yeah.
And a couple tough years for me. I came out here to train at Revolution, and then they kind of went public. They had a private gym for fighters, and then I was getting some good training, and then it went public, and things changed. So I moved back to Calgary to train with some coaches there, with Brian Bird and Nick Ring.
Yes.
Nick
the Promise Ring.
Nick the Promise
Ring. It's a great
Ring.
fighter name, or a great martial arts name to have. Ring.
Yeah.
Solid.
I think we were arguing politics on Facebook like a year ago or something.
He loves it. Nick Ring loves. He'll argue to death.
Jumps right in. I'm like, is this? My favorite is I was like, this is Nick Ring. I'm just like chatting. I'm like, the conservatives are,
Oh man, that guy reads so many books, and he's so intelligent.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he'll argue that. I'm like, I can't. Like I said last time, I shut down my Facebook. I can't stand it, man. And I opened it up again after the podcast because like, okay, I deleted.
Just don't use Facebook. Just use the Messenger.
That's what I got to do because I opened it up again, and all of a sudden I get on there and I just is like, what? Everybody's so angry.
Ignore. I don't ever click if I ever have to hit home. something's fucked up.
Yeah.
I only use the
That's
messenger.
why he didn't know what episode it was. But I'm like, how
I
do
don't
you
look
not
at it.
know?
I don't care to look at it.
He's
Like,
tagged in everything. I'm like, how do you not know? And he's like,
I seriously just don't care to look at Facebook, like social media, like just running feeds of things. It's just a cesspool of silliness.
Yeah, just everybody.
But you're back in now.
I'm back in. Well, right now I am probably gonna go set it off tomorrow.
Like right after the podcast.
It's good for messaging though.
Yeah, and you don't need Facebook for Messenger. You can shut down Messenger or Facebook
that's fair.
and still have Messenger.
Yeah, okay.
And then
nice.
They just want your data, son.
They just want your data.
They just want it. They just want to take it.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah. So what are we talking about here?
Okay, so let me set the stage.
Great question.
Here. So after the Francis Carmont fight, you're thinking about retooling.
Yeah,
you're talking about different camps you're looking at.
Different camps and.
So in 2011, you're in the midst of it feels like transition area.
I was still training here. I was running a program at Tactics, and I had some good fighters there. I had Ash Mashregi and Bruno Capdeville, and but I was training myself. You know what I mean? It was like the whole reason I really came out was to train with like other high level fighters, and then. It just dawned on me. I'm like, I gotta go back home and train with my boys, or I gotta go. Dean was talking about maybe doing out of Florida and training down there.
Yeah.
And then one day I was riding my bike and this lady.
So this is it. So you're on your bike. It's just like a regular bicycle, right? Like
just like a little
two
street
wheels.
Cruiser. Yeah, 2 wheels, 2 pedals.
2 pedals.
Yeah.
Street cruiser.
Yeah.
And are you like in on a street parking lot?
I was on 10th Ave, the bike lane. Vancouver has that 10th Ave bike lane.
Yes.
Bike road, I guess it is. I was just going over to play tennis with my cousin, and I had sandals on. I wasn't wearing a helmet, which is not smart. But I was just coming through, and it was right over at Oak and 10th, which is VGH. VGH is right there.
Yeah, right by the Vancouver General Hospital.
Yeah, and so I was coming through the bike. There's they kind of have the little divergent islands, and you come through.
Yeah, like
so
little medians.
I was coming through, on the bike thing, and as I kind of got in the intersection, the light turned yellow, and there was a lady in the intersection waiting to turn, and she was just sitting there. And then as soon as the light turned yellow, boom, pinned it, and, and turned and it hits. Kind of hit me with the front side of the car. I did a flip. I remember it is so weird. Everybody says time slows down, but time, it does. It's such a weird thing. Time. I remember the car coming in, and I was squeezing the brakes and it just kind of slid sideways, and I remember going through the air, and I did a flip, and I had a backpack full of my shoes and my tennis gear. And I went whap, and then it was a pregnant lady, and she came up and she was standing over me, and she's like, "Oh, the baby's kicking," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm not." I'm like,
"No." So that was her first. Hold on.
That was her first words.
She comes out and she wasn't like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry."
No, she was like, it was so weird. She's just kind of totally, and she was coming from a prenatal massage. So I don't know if she had baby brain, or what. She was just kind of
yeah.
And so I look, and my bike's on the other side of the street. And my sandals are on the other side of the street. So my sandals came off somehow. And
lose your shoes.
And my bike was over there. But the seat of the bike was between my butt cheeks. I must have just clenched so hard. And not it didn't take the whole pole out. It ripped it off the springs.
Wow. Holy.
Yeah, man.
This was quite an impact then.
It was, I mean, she
this guy trains. You could tell. He's got a gluteus maximus.
Yeah, and that's what the guys,
decimus.
Doctors said. It's a good thing you're such a big guy and athletic, because that saved you. And they couldn't believe anything. I went in and got X-rays, and then they're like, nothing's broken, and can you stand? And I stood, and they're like, yeah, I might get hurts to stand, and they're like, yeah, if it was broken, you wouldn't be able to. And they still gave me a cane and bunch of.
So at this point though, you're still under contract with the UFC?
No, I was not under contract.
So the last fight was the last fight of that set. Was that? Is that?
No, because Carmon wasn't UFC, right? Carmon was.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Grove was my last fight in
right,
UFC.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm walking backwards.
Yeah, it's all right, man.
I'm going through this with you.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an impact. So.
Yeah, it's and yeah, it's such just a bizarre. I made my way over and I sat on a bench, and somebody went and got my bike for me, and it was so weird because there was an ambulance at the intersection watching it happen, and so they pulled over and they're like, "We're gonna give you a ride to the hospital," and I was like, "Okay."
It's like the easiest call they ever made.
Yeah, it was literally half a block. Like, and they're like, "I'm like, just if you guys help me, we could probably walk down there." Yeah. And they're like, "No, we're putting you in the ambulance."
We have this vehicle.
Yeah,
made for.
I used to work for like payroll for the paramedics in the province here.
Oh yeah.
And so like they got a full pay for that.
Yeah.
So like you were like perfect spot for them, I guess.
Yeah, and there's like you're gonna get in faster if you come with us, and so
that stands to reason.
Yeah, I mean,
did they even have to put the lights on?
I don't think so.
They just reversed.
It was literally like this. It literally put me in. It was like boom, and turned into the parking lot. Yeah.
I like the idea of them just reversing.
They're like, yeah.
They're just coming out. They're like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was easy. Yeah. I'm surprised that the woman was just not as apologetic. Is it because she didn't want to take blame right away or something? Do you think?
I don't know, man. It's really weird. She,
I assume the accident was fully her fault. Like,
the court ruled that 90% her fault when I went to the court, and they gave me 10% fault because I should have known that maybe it was a stale red light. But I'm like,
but what? It was yellow.
Yeah, man. Like we'll get into ICBC.
Sure.
Like, what a criminal organization that is.
That's
you don't even have to say allegedly to that. That's allegedly.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say allegedly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was. I found out in court she had her license for like 2 months. It was a Range Rover with an L on the back.
So it was like the worst case scenario for this person. They hit someone on their L.
An L, like
because you gotta have a
learner.
You have a passenger with you, like 24 or 21, is it?
Or maybe it was an N. I can't make a statement today, but it was. She had her license for 2 months. Her Canadian license, anyway. I think she had another license back home. She was from China.
Sure.
So, I mean.
So what's going through your mind then? At this, like, after they hand you the cane and they're like, "Hey, you're lucky you didn't break anything."
I was lucky.
You're thinking like residual damage, like.
No, man. At the time, I'm like, I'm gonna go back and train in a couple weeks. It's like nothing's broken.
You didn't go play tennis that day.
No, I didn't do anything for I don't know how long, and it's just it was weird because it was in more pain than I realized.
Right.
I started doing things and I tried to get back in. I was doing some rehab, and the rehab I was going to is just like stick me in a room, and then the guy would come through and he's like, "Okay, do this exercise 15 times. I'll be back." He goes down, and it's just kind of like cookie cutter, get you. And I'm like, man, like I've had some of the best trainers in the world before, and what you guys, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
And so I did what they said.
That must be frustrating because the potential that you could get. And
and I didn't have a lot of money at the time to go like to somebody that of my choosing. It was just like, this is who you're gonna go to.
Yeah.
And man. So it's just like never. I went into a kind of dark place. Like I couldn't train. I'd go to the gym and I'd try to jump and I'd try to run and I'd try to kick, and everything I did hurt. And it was just kind of, I was like, I got so frustrated, and I didn't know. I went dark. I was like, it's over.
How far along from the accident was this? Like how many months?
So the accident happened, I believe, in July, and then after like 2 or 3 months, I think it was like October, I was like looking what else I could do, because I was like, and it sucks because if I can't fight, I don't really like training guys. If I'm gonna put a ton of time in, I want to fight. That's what I love doing, and to, because everybody's like, you can coach and train, and I'm like, that's not my passion. My passion is to fight and to compete. And
it's very honest. Some people would just do it, and then maybe don't do the best they could do.
Yeah, it was too hard for me, and so I started talking to. I had my best friend was one of my best friends is Christy Hall, who worked for this company in Calgary, who had a bunch of restaurants and that. And she's like, "Well, if you want, I can try to get you a job back here managing." And I was like, "Yeah." So I took it, and it just really frustrated. I don't think I stopped watching UFC. I just cut it right out. I'm like, I
could see that. I could see why you wouldn't want to be involved in that world for a bit.
I think it was like a year and a half before I even watched the UFC again, and I didn't train. I didn't go. I just was like, it was too frustrating to try and and you hear stories of guys who persevered through it, and all my hats off to those guys, because it's hard. It's like it felt like who I was gone. Because that's what identity. I thought I was.
Yeah, like we were talking, like that identity, it's stripped from you, right?
Yeah.
You have so much of your character wrapped up in this identity of fighting.
Yeah.
So when someone like essentially steals that from you, how do you?
What do you do?
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then you're still faced with like the realities of life and like trying to make things work. And,
yeah.
Like, I totally appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. So I went and moved back to Calgary and started running a restaurant / bar. And
how long did you do that?
For 9 months.
Okay. So, because in your heart of hearts, you're like, this is good.
This isn't where I wanted to be.
It's not.
It wasn't where I was. I was doing a good job, and I met a lot of good people, and I met my wife. I moved back, and I started working at this place in January.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy, man. And you weren't allowed to date staff, and she was working there, and I didn't think anything of it. And then like in May, we kind of started dating. Like she's like, this is how it happened. She's like, I like dogs, and I didn't know, but she really thought I was good looking and nice guy. And she had a crush on me.
Hey, it's Jason Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but none of them knew about my fighting past or anything. She had no idea, and
doesn't own a computer. Doesn't know how to Google. Yeah.
Didn't Google, and she knows I was just saying I love dogs, and she's like, "Oh, I have a dog. We want to go for a walk." And then so I showed up at the park, and she thought I had a dog, and so we walked, and then that was kind of like the beginning of it, and then so we started dating in May.
Hold on, wait. So, do I understand this right?
It's like a potluck party, but
yeah, you said you like dogs. She likes dogs. You go to a dog park, but there's no dog.
She had a dog.
Oh, she had the
dog. Yeah.
Like, oh, you mean just like a normal walk?
I was like, oh, she's being real nice, like because I don't get to hang out with my dog.
Yeah, I was like, you breezed over that so quick. I was like, wait a minute. I just pictured the two of you standing at dog. We just love dogs.
I like things. Man.
True love.
She tricked me.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, we started dating in May, and it was such a whirlwind, man. I proposed in July. We got married in September.
Wow. So 2 months in.
Oh yeah, man. It was such a whirlwind. Everybody's like, you guys are crazy. Like, what are you doing?
You know, right? You knew.
Yeah, you knew, man. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we moved to Vancouver. We moved right back to Vancouver because I wasn't happy there. I'm like, if I'm going to be unhappy, I'm going to. I shouldn't say that with my wife. I was happy with her, but I wasn't happy in that career, right?
In the context of
I didn't want to be running restaurants and that because I've seen too many guys go down that path because you get drinking and you got to entertain everybody, and
you're always the guy. You always have to have a story.
Yeah.
No.
So I came back out here. I was supposed to go to Honduras and build a resort, which that went away. We won't get into that.
Okay.
And then so I actually ended back at the gym where I was training before, and I taught a little bit there. And then
at this point, you're like, okay, I can watch MMA again. I feel comfortable.
Not even then, man.
You're just more like, okay, I can train. How's your pain management at this point?
Everything still hurt. Like even today, like everything still hurts. It's weird. Like it's just, and I think the hardest day. It was really weird. But the hardest day through that whole thing was I was waiting for months to see this ankle specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Months. And
in Canada, it's like,
I'm
surprised it wasn't a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was like so excited. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get into her and she can clean up things. And then she's like, she looked at my ankles, like the x-rays and the MRIs, and she's like, nothing I can do. she's like, if I operate, there's a slight chance that it might make it a little better. But if I do, there's also a chance I can make it worse.
So it's more of a risk of damaging it than any potential increase you could get?
Yeah.
Wow. So when you heard that news, what did that feel like?
Like I said, man, it was so weird because it was just, up until that point, I think there was some sort of like deep in where I thought that I was going to be able to return to fighting. And when she said that, it was like, it was heartbreaking, man. It was just like,
I would
that was like the nail in the coffin. That was just, I was like, man, like, it was really, that was the hardest thing through the whole thing, was just hearing her say that, because I put so much weight on it. It was my own fault. I put so much weight on thinking that was going to solve everything, and it wasn't going to solve everything, because I still have issues with my knees too and everything. But
the reality is like,
the reality
really
set in so fast.
Yeah,
it was just,
I hear.
Yeah, and so I think at that point it was like, I kind of started training guys, and I taught some kickboxing, and because I needed to make money. Me and my wife were here. Sure. We had no money.
The most expensive city in the world.
Most expensive city in the world. She didn't have a job. She started working at a restaurant, actually, in Yaletown. So she got a job.
Oh, yeah. Easy there, name drop. You have to let everyone know.
I work in Yaletown.
Oh, did you? Where do you work at?
I work at a company called Relic Entertainment. Just like in Yaletown.
Oh, Sega.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is there a name drop? All right.
Yeah.
I just know the rest. I just know the restaurants there. I know the restaurants in Yaletown.
I'm just breaking his balls. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I had to do something, right? So that kind of forced me back into into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I just, one day I said fuck it, and I started training harder, and I just kind of worked through the pain, and now it's manageable. It's like I get massages all the time, and you kind of figure it out over the years, because you can't sit there, and that's what I was doing. I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself. I was just like I said, some guys learn how to do it quick and just say, I'm going to do this, and then so I eventually was able to train fairly hard, not to where I was before. Like I still can't really kick with.
It's like a new pocket, right?
It's a new pocket. You kind of find out what you can and can't do, and and then I just worked in. I just worked hard and got my way into stunts.
So how did that happen? Like, because at one point here you are, just gradually getting back into training, and then someone's like, because that world, people, when someone hears the word stunt and they have no entertainment background, they think you're like driving a car off. I had, like I said, like, or something.
My buddy Dan Rizzuto, who I did some MMA with.
Right. Yeah.
He was like, "Well,
we talked a little bit about Dan and the previous episode." Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he got me in my first gig, and it was a fight with the Miz. It was the Christmas Bounty, the Miz, the wrestler.
Yeah.
And so I did a little fight with him in the show, and.
What's his real name? It's something like
Mike Mizzano.
Mike Mizzano.
Yeah.
Miz, I believe.
First name The.
Yeah, he's actually an awesome guy. I've done 4 movies with him now.
I've heard he's a nice dude.
Yeah, he cracks me up, man, and he's nice to everybody. It's funny.
Was he not just on WrestleMania?
Yeah.
He fought John Cena.
Yep.
Wrestled
He's
John
so funny because he has such a cocky persona, and
his
he does it so well, man.
Yeah. He's a really good guy. Like, you said you've done 4 films with him so far? Marine
3, Marine 5, Christmas Bounty. So I think just maybe 3.
Yeah. So when you're doing your first stunt gig though, what was that? Which one was that?
Christmas Bounty.
Christmas Bounty.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first scene you did stunts in then?
Yeah, man. It was this huge fight at a wedding. It was a car crashed through this wedding, and then I was one of the goons at the wedding. Like,
right.
It was like, I think it was an Italian wedding.
Classic.
And so then he busts in shooting things up, and we fight him, and my kind of gag was I get in the fight and he punches me, and then he takes a table and he throws it and hits me in the back, and I flatten out. And it was awesome, man. And I didn't really pursue it after that though. It was like I think 6 or 9 months later before I was like I could kind of believed I could do it.
That first spot though, when they tell you they're like, okay, the table's gonna come over, and because like, I mean, I guess I'm thinking like on some level, because you've been fighting for real for so long. Was it tough to have to learn to pull punches and stuff like that? You know?
Yes and no, because my punches looked realistic, and they're just like just make them a little bigger, and then you just have to learn camera angles. And I tend to think I learn fairly quickly, like, and so it's just like, you know, just think about the angles. I'm like, okay, and then so, you know, if the camera's there, I got to hit you on this side, and it was pretty natural for me.
Plus, like, mechanically, you're doing everything correct, which is already selling it more than like anyone else, right?
I mean, like, man, like, have you seen this guy's his technique is flawless, you know? Like,
but the funny thing is, good technique doesn't really sell on camera, though, because, you know, if you're doing like nice straight punches being tight, they can't really see what you're doing.
It's kind of like under.
You want these big haymakers coming through, and you know, you need to see, you need to see them coming, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
To make it look great.
I like the idea that you film fight the way Fedor really fights.
Right.
I like that. Well, that's cool. So it wasn't until you said like 6 or 9 months later that you're like, okay, you know what? I think I could do this more regularly than just a one-off.
Yeah.
So what came down the pipeline next for you?
What was this? Like, I worked on, there was the Almost Human was here, and I got on that, and then
well, I should ask this. This is interesting to me because I have a few friends that do stunts, but it's obviously not like a cattle call style audition, is it? Like
for stunts, no, man.
Like you're like they seek you out. They like you're
because each film out there has a stunt coordinator,
right?
And then so like how it happens
guys,
is
right? Like,
every coordinator has his guys, and then, you know, but you still got to like there's certain roles you got to fill and got to look for certain types, and so you mean what you have to do is you have to gain the trust of that coordinator. Do you mean because he wants to look good, you want to look good. And if you come in and like you throw him punches that don't land, or you're not gonna take the bump hard, he doesn't look good. So you have to earn the trust, and that's how you build your career. Is just if a stunt coordinator trusts you and likes you, because you want to work with people you like, you get more calls, and then you get, you know, and then everybody talks. It's a small, tight community. It's an awesome community. I've met so many good people in this community, and it's just and that's how you build your career.
I just didn't want like you to tell me that like yeah, you know, I had to go up and this director's like, show me Kimura, and you're like, all right. And then
no. Like, but for auditions though, I mean, auditions you go in front of the directors, and you know, you don't have to really show them. You have to show them you can act.
Yeah, well, they want to see it like a little bit.
Yeah, they want to know that you're not just gonna be like,
you're like, you're not a real goon, right?
Yeah. So but yeah, that's how you know, I got into it, and it's been really good to me.
You've been doing well, man. You have some really, really good projects you're a part of. I think, like I was saying in the first episode, the whole reason we didn't do this a few months ago was because you were booking, you know, it's just like, hey, I got a booking. I got to take it. I'm like, dude, I totally appreciate that. I totally understand.
Yeah, man. I've been very, very fortunate. And
You have a good summer looking in terms of scheduling?
Yeah.
There
might be a couple things coming down the pipe for me this summer.
It's okay. You can throw a few allegedlys in there if you want.
I can't even do that. I'll never work in the town again.
I think one of my favorite parts about these past 2 interviews with you is that I've got to see some of the real unfiltered passion you have for not just for fighting but for self-development and just understanding things, because like, you know, you hear all the time about the different types of personalities out there, and like there's the really flashy guys, and then there's, you know, like the defensive minded people, and like, you know, you have these like social inverts and then extroverts, all these different styles of guys, and like I got a really good vibe from you in terms of like I feel like I know you a lot better in these last 2 episodes.
Thanks, man.
You have this like tremendous heart for this, and I mean not just for fighting, but like for life. Like you have a pretty tremendous heart.
Thank you.
I can feel that from you, and I think that's a beautiful thing, dude. It really is.
You know what's funny is we didn't talk about the trial, which I'll talk for hours about.
I know.
But one of the things is kind of when the ICBC lawyer was kind of cross-examining me or whatever, one of the last questions she asked me, she said, "Are you happy now?"
Oh, really?
And I said, "Yeah, I am happy now." And then so my lawyer, after that, he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you just told the jury you're happy."
Yeah.
And I go, "Well, man, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not
It's
gonna."
on the record.
Yeah, I'm not. But my thing is, I'm not gonna walk around life being miserable. And I appreciate you saying that, because we're only here once. You're only on this planet once. I mean, you may have different religious beliefs but as far as I know, I'm only gonna go around this sun a few times. You know what I mean? I only got one life, and to be upset or unhappy or angry throughout your life, why do you live like that? You know what I mean? They make the best out of whatever situation you're in.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I lost my career. I lost that path in life. But just because that path is gone doesn't mean I can't be happy doing another path.
Absolutely.
And, I think it worked, I was just honest.
Yeah, that's it.
Of course I'm happy. Yeah. I'm not, I got a beautiful wife.
Yeah.
I have a great dog. I live in a wonderful city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy because of the choices I've made, and because of the path I took and the changes I've made. You know what I mean?
I do. Because when you're faced with adversity, the choices are there. It's you can go with it, or you can say, I'm going to actually approach this way. I'm going to be positive about it. I'm going to focus on this.
And like I said, when I went back to Calgary, I was in a little bit of a dark place. I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I went down that road
Maybe
once, and that's not
then. Yeah.
And it's like you get a kick in the butt at some point, being like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to live that way. I try just to be happy and just make the best out of everything, because you're not going to get what you want every single time in life.
Yeah, dude. No, I totally. I'm so happy to hear you say that, because like I know like you're speaking not just from experience, but like you really believe that.
100%.
Yeah,
100%, man. I don't want to.
You're a good example of that too. Like people that
thank you.
You have a dream career.
Yeah.
And you've carved out like another dream career out of that. Like that's pretty.
You got to go for it, right?
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely wouldn't have done that if you were not able to, like you said, kick yourself in the ass essentially, and just like realize what's going on.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very admirable. I think my respect level for you couldn't be higher right now.
I've tricked you.
Yeah.
Now sign here and give me all your money.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the new cult we're putting together.
Yeah. drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. It's a multi-level marketing campaign.
Yeah.
I will say this though. You mentioned last time that you were thinking about just like deleting your Facebook and stuff like that.
But
it went back
this time.
Yeah, but then like this time as well, you mentioned you brought it back on.
Yeah.
After the podcast, are you going to keep it around for a bit? Should we plug it? Can we tell people how they can follow you if they want to do so?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really follow me on Facebook.
No,
because part of the thing I did, I took everybody that I didn't know or have some association with.
Right.
Because when I was fighting, I added everybody.
Yeah, and everyone adds you.
I honestly went through like every day and I deleted like 30, 40 people every day, and I just like until I had it down to a somewhat
workable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then I put everything private, because I don't. Facebook is, I want to be able to communicate with my friends, and that's what I want to use it for.
Yeah.
Which is still killing me, so I'm gonna get rid of it. But
I
like
that even your best version, the curated private version, you're still like, it's a bit much.
It is. But I mean, I may go back to Instagram. I like
You're Jason William Day on Instagram.
Jason
right?
William Day. Yeah,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think at some point I might go back to Instagram, because it's just fun to share pictures of what you're doing, and
the user base is good. I know they're still owned by Facebook, but
they're still owned by Facebook.
Different user base.
Yeah, they're still listening, but
it's a different way to consume content. I like it. People like it.
Yeah,
podcasts on there.
And you're not bombarded with people's opinions like on Twitter.
Yeah,
I can't handle Twitter, so you can follow me on there, but good luck if I'm never going to say anything.
If people are so inclined, they can also follow the podcast by going to intergalacticinterviews.com, or you could search us on iTunes, Intergalactic Interviews. We're the only one. Look us up. We're also on YouTube and Stitcher and everywhere, like SoundCloud. Most of our users have migrated from SoundCloud at this point, but I would say we're definitely still there. That's where the RSS feed comes from, so you guys can enjoy that. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe to us. Leave us a review if you're so inclined. We appreciate all the feedback. Last time Jason Day was on the show, we had some really strong feedback, so I'm hoping this week too we get to hear some good stuff. You're always welcome to come to the show, man. I love chatting with you. I always feel like
I'll come back.
Like good after I talk to you. Like I have 2 samples now.
Feel much better about your life.
Yeah,
like,
no. Like I feel confidence.
That's
like,
invigorated, man.
Yeah, allegedly.
Really come back after the summer and see what's happening.
I love that. I love that. You still hold the record right now, though, for fastest turnaround, though. It's like a few weeks. I was like, oh, man, get you back in here. I'd love that.
I think it's going to get busy, so that's kind of why I was like, let's take advantage of this and
makes sense.
And get it done.
C-Mart, just throw to you real quick. What is the best way people can follow you?
Just like email you, and then I'll get it. Like
he can filter
once a week.
You filter.
I'll give you your email. But I'll print them all out.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then I'll hand them to you in a
highlight
sack.
them.
Yeah, highlight the.
Yeah, I would like I want to be really clear.
All right, that makes sense. I could do that for you. You're a good guy. You do a lot for me. I'll do a lot for you. Yeah, I can do that.
He does a lot. All I hear is just click, 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 click.
He's a machine.
I think he's playing Tetris.
Yeah. He. This is a crazy setup for him, but like before when it was just audio, he would just roll our research all the time, like everything. We wouldn't have had to say any, like, he would have already been looking it up. Like he's got all his hands full of and stuff now.
Oh man.
With that being said, we'll be back next week with a guest that I won't announce to you because if I do, they may not show up. That's right, yeah. So that running gag aside.
What if we have a guest that we really don't want to show up, but they're already booked?
I'll let you know ahead of time.
And then we'd say it.
We'll flash the name here.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. But ladies and gentlemen, we love you guys so much. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.